I call Jenny Marcroft.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise and take a call on this, the Smoke-Free Environments Prohibiting Smoking in Motor Vehicles Carrying Children Amendment Bill. New Zealand First, we support this piece of legislation. I'd like to begin as a couple of the members previous have acknowledged the vehicles they were in as children in the 1970s. There is a similarity between myself and the member who's just resumed his seat around a Holden, a station wagon and a special, and I think ours might have been panel beater grey. But not only that, it was the norm back in those days to have parents smoking in the car while the kids were in the back. In fact, we had a little Mini. My dad had a Mini. It was a black Mini, EC 108, and fond memories of the Mini. We would pile into the car on a Sunday morning. Dad driving, Mum in the front nursing the baby, my 3 siblings sitting in the back seat with our other sibling on our knees. Jam-packed 7 of us in that Mini. No one wearing a seatbelt. It was the norm then, but we changed. We realised how dangerous that was, and as society we moved and we made it click. Suddenly we're all wearing seatbelts. This is a little bit like that. The social norm to smoke in the car with children, that'll be a thing of the past very soon as this legislation is passed through. Madam Speaker, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, we're absolutely, as a government, we understand our responsibility protecting our children's health and well-being. So I'm very pleased to support this piece of legislation, Madam Speaker. It's a really sensible measure. It's all about ensuring that we are protecting our particularly vulnerable children, our tamariki, our rangatahi. You see, they have no choice in the matter when they're stuck in a car and there's someone else smoking. And we know that more than 100 New Zealanders die every year from the effects of second-hand smoke. And this change will bring us into line with other countries like Australia, the UK, Canada and South Africa as well. This is all about, Madam Speaker, getting clean air for kids. And when we have that focus, we'll ensure that our children will be in a better state of health as a result. There was a great campaign by my former colleague, Duncan Garner, who had a little bit of a campaign on the telly about this, and when he spoke to the Right Honourable Winston Peters, he said that the common sense strain of the government strongly supports the ban. We think we've taken a really common sense, practical approach here, and Mr Peters said that it's actually children haven't got a choice, and that's really the long and the short of it. You know, a husband has a choice, a wife has a choice in the vehicle, so really it should be banned because children don't have that choice. So acknowledging also too, Madam Speaker, the Māori Affairs Select Committee, which I was a member of last year, we held a joint hearing with the Health Select Committee, and we were looking at the Smoke-Free 2025. That was really interesting to combine the two select committees, and we were reminded, Madam Speaker, that smoking is New Zealand's biggest killer. In fact, 5,000 people every year are killed because of smoking and smoking-related illnesses. We heard from Hāpai Te Hauora, and really I'm hoping that they may come and present to the Select Committee because they brought some really interesting statistics, particularly around Māori and the slight smoking decline in those that particularly vulnerable groups. So it will be interesting to hear from them. One of the focuses during that joint committee was on looking at smoking in cars, and the submitters were very clear to us, Madam Speaker, that cars carrying in children actually should be banned immediately. The previous government, Madam Speaker, their health committee in fact recommended that the government ban smoking in cars carrying children under the age of 18 years. But however, the national government declined to do so. So we are picking up the challenge and we're moving ahead and taking this legislation all the way through. Overseas, we know that this has been passed, particularly in Australia and various jurisdictions over there, from the age of smoking of under 16-year-olds in cars in Queensland, that's been banned. 200 fine there. South Australia, also under the age of 16, it's been banned. Victoria, it's the under the age of 18. So there's a little bit of change and discrepancy between various jurisdictions in terms of their ages. Canada, they've had a ban for children under the age of 16. Nova Scotia, though, they've picked the age of 19. Around the world, Mauritius, smoking is prohibited in a car carrying passengers. Any passengers, actually. The United Kingdom, particularly in England and Wales, smoking has been banned there recently with under 18s just since 2015. There are a number of countries that don't yet have a smoking ban with carrying children, but they are planning to look at that legislation. It's in the pipeline for them. Finland, Greece, Ireland and the Netherlands, they have theirs in the planning stages. And I'd just like to make note in conclusion, Madam Speaker, that this government, we actually don't want anyone in cars with children to be smoking. We also don't want anyone to be forced to live in their cars. You know, we are making record investments in terms of emergency, transitional and state housing to ensure all New Zealanders have somewhere absolutely decent to live. This bill, it will amend the Smoke-Free Environments Act 1990, which has never included private dwellings. Now, maybe if the National Party is interested in banning smoking in people's homes, well, I'm sure that would be a significant shift in their position. There are a couple of clauses that we would like the Select Committee to take a much closer look at. These are these exemption clauses which are in this legislation. We would like a focus to be shone on that, and so we will definitely, New Zealand First will be listening to the experts. We'll be taking good consideration of the submissions and the evidence that will come in through the Select Committee process around those couple of clauses as it goes through the Select Committee stage. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, I am pleased to commend this bill to the House.
I call Shane Retty.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a pleasure to speak to this